Wake up and be amazing and grab your daily Danish. I don't know about you, but it seems like a long time since I've been here. Last week, had the pleasure of talking to Melanie as we launched Confidence in the Kitchen, and it seemed like it went really well. We have had over 500 views. I noticed that Melanie texted me earlier today. I haven't had a chance to respond. Hello, Tanya. But I certainly will. So I have been... if you are watching live, I want you to give me some hearts. If you're watching recorded, give me some likes. So light it up with the heart so I know that you're watching live. I know people are out there. Sometimes I can see who is watching. Sometimes I can't. Facebook is a little bit weird. Hey, TP. Missed you this morning. So I've always been a morning person from the time I was a little itty bitty kid. Thank you. I see those hearts coming. And then about probably July of last year on the weekend, I had some time. I read The Miracle Morning. And Hal Erod talks about 6 things that we should do every day. And even in the 6-minute start to getting it to 60 minutes, they're called lifesavers, and the acronym is SAVERS. You should sit in moments of silence every day. Positive affirmations every day. Thank you. Keep it coming. It keeps me smiling. Visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. And when I did that, I started to walk Dodger, which is our puppy. She's an Australian Shepherd Border Collie mix. If you Google Australian Shepherd Border Collie, it's going to be her picture. White and black face. So she looks like a Border Collie the size of an Australian Shepherd. And the personality of Dane Boyle, for sure. So I started to get up each morning and take Dodger for a walk for about 10 minutes, right? So I told you those lifesavers were based on 10-minute increments. Hey, Jess. I was coming alive listening to some soundtrack from The Greatest Showman just because you put that in my ear this morning. So with Dodger, I mean, she is ready to go. When you open that kennel, you let her out, she does her business, and let's walk. And I thought, I came home and I looked at her with her tongue hanging out, right? And, I think Dodger's cute too. She looks like her master. And I thought, Dodger speaks to me with nonverbal communication every day. And I jotted down 10 things that she has taught me, and I hope she can teach you. So when you wake up every day, you should be glad and happy the day has come. There's rule number 1 in Danish, that every day is a great day. Think about it. If you were like your puppy, who as soon as you pet, open the door, coffee pot goes out, however you start your day, is happy and joyous to see you, and happy and joyous to see you if you went out to your car and you came back. They don't know you were only gone for a minute. And they don't know if you've gone for 8 hours. But always be glad the day has come. Think about it. You're never promised another day, and that's another rule, is to never waste a heartbeat. So Dodger told me, always be glad the day has come. Always be ready to go. Be ready to grab your shoes, grab your hat, grab your glasses, grab your umbrella, grab whatever it is that you need. Be ready to rock and roll and go. Every day, in an instant, be ready to go. Don't be a sloth. Get up, get out, and get moving. And be ready to go. Think about it. Be ready to go. Never stop exploring. When was the last time you saw a dog that just wanted to walk in a linear path? Never. Right? They smell the flowers. They smell the grass. They smell the spilled drink that the kid left on the sidewalk. They're always, 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 always exploring. Why do we stop exploring? It's one of the things on daneboyle.com, and it says in the Discover Awesome, is that dreams don't have an expiration date. Dodger can't specifically tell me what her dreams are, but I can share my dreams with her. And you know what? She doesn't judge me, and she never stops exploring. So oftentimes we go down, if we go for a longer walk than 10 minutes, we go for 10 minutes, we get from the house to the stop sign and back usually. I didn't have to measure it anymore. Hey, Johnny. But if we go longer walk and we typically go to the right, why can't I just go to the left? Why can't I go forward? Why can't I walk through the grass? Why can't I do other things? Never stop exploring. So Steph, one of our champions, has been rocking and rolling. Last month, she walked over 120 miles. And now, every weekend, she wants to go explore somewhere outside of our town. I think it's awesome. Whether it's a hike and bike trail, whether it's walking like a kayak trail, whether it's going to the beach, whether it's going to another city, never stop exploring. And the dogs will tell you that. They're constantly exploring, and they never stop doing it. Greet people with joy. I mean, if Dodger sees another human being, another dog, her tongue is hanging out, her butt's going back and forth, right? She greets every single person with joy and assumes they have goodness in their heart. So think about it. When you see another person, when you pass somebody, do you say hello? Do you say good morning? Do you ask how they are? Do you think they're going to be a good person just based on their dress or the color of their shirt or the color of their skin? She doesn't care. She could absolutely care less. Look, like Annie said, thank you, Jessica. If you have questions, comments, what has your dog taught you? What has somebody taught you through nonverbal communication? How do you see the world? Share it. Let's have a conversation. Greet people with joy every single day. Every day, every moment, every day. You know what else Dodger taught me? Splash in as many puddles as possible. Got another pair of shoes? You can dry your shoes. You have a dryer? You can dry your shoes. You have another pair of socks? Get a pair of dry socks. Who cares? I know your mom would tell you don't splash in the puddle. Don't get in the car wet. But you're an adult. Jump up in the puddle. What does it feel like? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it smell bad? Does it smell good? Right? Is there a rainbow in the top of the puddle? That's probably because of the puddle, but so what? Splash in the puddle. Look, I don't want you to get sick, but splash in as many puddles as possible and experience it like never before. What if you took your shoes off? So here's the story. I don't know if Tanya's still on here. Tanya, if you're still on here, give me some hearts. So there's a Coleman plant in our town, and every Memorial Day weekend, they have this gigantic sale of, I assume it's just surplus products. Well, it was out in this open field. There she is. Tanya, I know you remember this. It was in this open field, and man, the mud was about, it was just below. Well, for Tanya, it might have been her thigh. For me, it was at my knees, but the mud was thick and it was gross. Yeah, exactly. But we saw a tent that we wanted, and we walked over and we like into the mud, and we kept going through, right? And we got up there and we said we want it. The guy gave us like 50% off because we didn't disappear. Well, now we're filthy and dirty. We have a relatively new car. I don't think we had the Jeep that day. And we had to go across the street. And remember, it had been raining, and there were all these puddles. And you know how we bathed? Just like a bird bath. We took the dirty water off the ground, and we at least cleaned up enough to get in the car. Yeah, it did. It sucked our shoes off. I remember that too. But we splashed in the puddle, and it was kind of funny. But here we are, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years later, and we still talk about it every time we go past where the Coleman sale was or that particular gas station. So we made memories because we splashed in the puddle, and Dodger reminded me of that too. You know what else Dodger never does? She never, ever complains about the weather. She's never once told me it's too hot. She never once told me it was too cold. She never once told me that it was raining. She never told me that it was snowing, and it did snow in the San Antonio, New Braunfels area in December of 2017. Never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, never has she said, I'm not going out because it's too cold, too hot, too wet, too dry, too windy. Sometimes in the morning I open the back door and it's raining hard. She looks at me twice, but she always goes out. So look, they do. Dogs have great attitudes, right? They just teach us, literally, they teach us how to love. They teach us how to experience life, and we just ignore it. We tend to be caught up in the mud and the muck and the crap of the day. Well, you know what? Don't. Through nonverbal communication, they can tell you how to live. So don't complain about the weather. You can't change it. And look, if you're fussing that it's raining, I bet there's a farmer out there somewhere that's grateful that it is. And if it's rained too much, I bet that farmer's grateful that the sun is coming out. And if it's raining and the stock tank is full so their cows can have water or they can water their crops, I bet they're grateful. So wherever there's positive, there's negative. Wherever there's yin, there's yang. So never stop. Never stop. Just go. Just go. Rain or shine. With our motto with Camp Gladiator too, it's better outside. Unless it's completely unsafe, they're going outside. Rain, snow, wind, cold, heat, you go outside. We are made to be outside. We are not really made to be in 72 degrees all the time in conditioned air. So if you want to get acclimated, you got to get outside. Roll the windows down. Go for a walk. Ride a bike. But get outside. Your body's an amazing adaptable piece of machinery. Hello, Megan. And it will get acclimated. There really was a time when we didn't have AC. Look, I don't necessarily want to sleep in my house at night without AC, but I did go to high school, all the way through high school without air conditioning. I lived in a house as a kid without it too. And you know what? I'm still here. And I would still be here. And you know how you know there are places in the area that people don't have air conditioning? Because they'll be sitting on their front porch in the evening because it's cooler outside than it is in the house. So be it. You will live. You will live. You will live. You will live. Yeah. So I think we do something. No one left indoors. No one left indoors. Get outside. Take your kids outside. Push them on a swing. Push them on the playground. Go to a park. Go to the neighborhood. Find a playground. Find a jungle gym. Talk about the weather. How, hey, that's a cirrus cloud. That's a cumulus nimbus cloud. We need to go in. It's going to rain. But play in the rain. Let the kid enjoy it. Splash in the puddle. See how much joy a kid has in their rain boots and their slickers? Come on. They absolutely love it. Why did we quit doing it? Why did we quit doing it? You know what else Dodger taught me? Is you don't have to go fast to enjoy movement. If I slow down, yes, with or without me. Yes, we're going to splash in the puddle together. But we're going to go outside. But look, you don't have to go fast to enjoy movement. What you have to do is do it. One of the rules, I believe it's rule number 7, is it doesn't matter what you do. What matters is that you do it. Hey, Kelly, you got to do it. So you just have to move forward every day as much as possible. Nobody said you have to go fast. If we really want deep inside exercise physiology, the acronym is FIT. F-I-T-T. Frequency. How often are you actually getting out and moving? Intensity, so that's how fast are you doing it? So are you doing it where you're huffing and puffing, where your heart's beating faster, where you're sweating a little bit? Or are you doing it leisurely, like walking the dog at 4 o'clock in the morning for 10 minutes? It's a pretty casual walk. I probably still have crusties and miles. I barely brush my teeth, right? Frequency, intensity, time, type. What are you doing? So if you're looking for additional physical benefits and the intensity is lower, then you just have to do it longer. If it's really, really fast and high intensity and you're huffing and puffing breathing, then you can do it for less time to get the same benefit. But again, you don't have to go fast to enjoy movement. What you have to do is move. Slow down and smell the flowers. Have you ever seen a dog walk by and not want to sniff the dandelion or sniff the daisies or sniff the roses? Always. When was the last time you stopped and admired the color of the flower, the smell of the flower? Stop and smell the flowers. When we used to cycle a lot, so bicycling, there are 3 kinds of cyclists. Ones that go by and go, whoo, look at the flowers. Ones that go and stop and smell the flowers, and ones that go, there were flowers? So who are you? Do you stop and smell the flowers? Do you say, look and admire the flowers? Or do you go, there were flowers? Well, if you follow Dodger's lead, you're going to stop and smell the flowers. You know what else she taught me? Sometimes rolling in the grass just feels good. Think about that. What is that? What is that picture of you? Are you literally rolling in the grass? Or are you stopping and doing something just to scratch your back and feel the sun on your face or feel the warmth on your belly? Think about it. Sometimes rolling in the grass just feels good. You know what? Sometimes just sitting in the sun feels good. Sometimes feeling, hello Heidi, sometimes feeling the cold on your skin feels good. The wind in your hair. Okay, I don't really have hair. But if I had hair, feeling the wind in your hair, it just might feel good. So what are you doing where you can stop and roll in the grass? What are you doing that's going to make you come alive? Just like the song I mentioned with Jessica earlier. If you haven't heard it, I'll have to drop the link in here from The Greatest Showman. I highly recommend watching the movie. But stop and roll in the grass every once in a while. You know what else she's taught me? This might ultimately be, so number 1 and number 10 of this list, and they're not in any order. They're just what came to me after looking at Dodger. I was sipping my coffee at, say, 4:10, 4:12 in the morning. The moment I am in is the most important moment. Yes. So the song was Come Alive. If I could probably actually get on my phone quickly and find it and put it in here, and maybe I'll do that. So I might look away. But the moment you're in is the most important moment. And for me, the way I share that is never waste a heartbeat. Never, ever waste that heartbeat, because you're never guaranteed another one, are you? And for those that have loved and lost, or Mitch Albom's book, 5 more minutes, that's all anybody ever asks for is 5 more minutes. What else could you do? What would you do if you had 5 more minutes with that person? So tell those you love them, and never assume they know, right? That's it. The moment you're in is the most important moment of your life. And don't ever forget that. I think Annie actually found the YouTube video, so you should watch it. Come Alive. I just recommend it. I'm telling you, that movie, The greatest. I should probably do a talk about that movie. So my daughter, Kayla, sent me, hello, Trainer Bree, a clip of when they were practicing and auditioning for the movie. And the hair on my arm stood up, and we actually went to the movie, and we don't go very often. And I absolutely loved it. And when it came out on Amazon, we bought it that day. So let's talk, let's review, comment, like, share, give me hearts. I don't care, but let's be interactive. Remember, I'm going to work in reverse order of the things that my dog taught me on our morning walks. I get all excited. Now I'm yelling at you. The moment you're in is the most important moment you'll ever have. Sometimes rolling in the grass just feels good. When was your last rolling in the grass moment? And if you can't remember, it's been too long. A million dreams. I mean, we could go. Yes, Brandy, please watch it. That's one of the things about streaming movies and buying them, unlike when we had DVDs, or if you're old enough to have a VHS, we could share the movies. I don't think Amazon allows me to share for a view, but highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Slow down and smell the flowers. I told you there are group of cyclists out there that zip by, go, oh, look, flowers. This group stops and smells the flowers, and then the group that says, there were flowers. Don't be that group. You don't have to go fast to enjoy the movement. You just have to go. Move forward every single day, every day, every day. Yes. See, I mean, I'm just saying, random things come to my head. Never complain about the weather. Brandy, do you ever complain about the weather? Do your people complain about the weather? And if they do complain about the weather, then they have to do an extra burpee, or they have to do an extra jumping jack, or an extra squat, because we're better together and get outside. What? Splash in as many puddles as possible. So when I have my own camps, we might just find random puddles, and we might just splash and laugh and have a good time and giggle like little kids. And you are a badass. She asked, when was the last time you laughed so hard you almost wet your pants? You should do it. You should do it. Greet people with joy. I'm telling you, look at the dog. They wag their tail. They shake their rear end. They put their head out, right? And they just want to be pet. They just want, hey, Jackie, they just want to be pet. So greet people with joy every day. Never, ever, ever stop exploring. If you typically go forward, go to the right. If you typically go forward, go to the left. Change direction. Walk in the opposite direction. Do something different. See the world differently. Go out at night. Get up early. See a sunrise. See a sunset. But never stop exploring. Always be ready to go, because some opportunities only come once. Seize them. So never say no. Just be ready to go. And always be glad the day has come. Again, when we set our timer and our coffee beans to grind in the morning, and it goes off before my alarm goes off, and it wakes me up, and I hear the dog bark, and she's ready, and she stays in a kennel, and I unlock the kennel, and she knows the routine, and she goes out the back door, and I let her out. She is ready to go. And she does her business, and she barks a little bit, and I'm like, oh, don't bark. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, 3:50 a.m. But then when I get her leash, or I tell her to go get her leash, she goes and get it, and she's ready. She greets the day with joy. So please, here's a couple things. I'm going to put all 10 of these. I'll type them up, and I'll put them in, print them out, look at them. And if Dodger can help you have a better day today than yesterday, and a better day tomorrow, then man, has she done her job. And there was a reason that God put her into my life, because I was literally, how did I get Dodger? I needed a partner at that time. Tom and I weren't married. We hadn't even dated yet. And I knew I needed somebody to hang out with. And a buddy of mine said, hey, come to this auction. And we have food and drink, and it's on us. The company paid for it. So I showed up. I think it was actually the first time I was in my little hometown with my sleeveless shirt, because at that time I didn't wear my sleeveless shirt to go and actually teach. So nobody even knew that I had a few tattoos. But anyway, so I showed up, and they had this list of a silent auction, and there was a pick of the litter of these dogs, Border Collie Australian Shepherds. They're super cute. It had veterinary care, it had toys, it had to chip your dog, it had dog training classes. It was worth a couple grand for sure. And the bid went for a lot more money than I had or wanted to spend. Well, then whoever bought it actually re-gifted the dogs back to the couple $1,000 donation. The group of dogs were the very last item for auction as they came back, and nobody bid. And the opening bid was $200. And I told my friend Todd, I said, hey man, it's closed, but I'm going to walk up to the auctioneer and ask if it's $200, I'll do it. It's well worth $200. And the dog breeder was actually there that day. And she came out and she asked me some questions about who I was and what I wanted and what I did for a living. And she's like, you'd be a perfect fit for a high energy dog of a border collie and Australian shepherd. Then they had to make sure that it was legal because they're a 501(c), that it didn't actually go through the auction process. They said yes. Well, to find out, those puppies were only about 3.5 weeks old. So they weren't ready to come home yet. But I wanted to go see the dog. So sometime the next weekend, I found out where the breeder lived and I went, and there's these beautiful puppies and they're barking and all these other things. And I was like, I think she's the perfect dog for us too, right? Tanya will say the same thing. I was like, in my whole life, I'd never picked a dog before. As a kid, my dad just randomly had a dog, or my sisters found a dog and we had a dog. And then I had kids at home and they went to Walmart and all of a sudden we had a dog. But I never picked a dog. I didn't even know how to pick a dog. And the lady, her name is Linda, she said, sit down and the dog will pick you. So as I say this, I need to go through all my Google photos and find this picture. Hey, Wayne, there's a picture of Dodger sitting in my lap. And she sat in my lap and I knew that was a dog. And 4.5 weeks later, on Memorial Day weekend, I went and got Dodger. And the rest is history. And now we hear she'll be 5 this month. She taught me these 10 things. So always be glad the day came. Always be ready to go. Never stop exploring. Greet people with joy. Splash in as many puddles as possible. Never complain about the weather. You don't have to go fast in order to enjoy movement. Slow down and smell the roses, or smell the flowers. They don't have to be roses. Sometimes rolling in the grass just feels good. The moment I am in is the most important moment you have. So nonverbal communication, pay attention. Please turn on the notifications button so that you know the next time we go live. Please go to daneboyle.com and discover awesome and become a site user so that we can begin to have a conversation. So together we can ignite life and spark a health revolution and impact as many lives in a positive way as possible. Thank you so much for joining me. My goal, each one of these videos for the long one of the week, is to be no more than 30 minutes. I'm going to get it out here in 22. If you enjoyed what you heard, please like, comment, share, because once again, that's another way to make the world a healthier, happier place. And that way Dodger knows that she helped spark a health revolution. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Apparently it doesn't want to disconnect, but we'll keep going.